Hello, courageous hustlers, and welcome to another episode. I'm your host, Sandra Ocasio from sandraocasio.com. I'm also the founder and CEO of the Courageous Hustler Empowerment brand. Our mission is to empower you to recognize that you can become everything you've ever dreamed impossible in your life. Embrace and embody that courageous hustler in you. In this community, fear does not stop our purpose. We just learn how to walk with it. This show features courageous hustlers from all around the world who have overcome adversity and achieved massive success by being brave and unstoppable. Courageous Hustler is a mindset-focused, open conversation podcast, so therefore, none of our episodes are scripted, and we try to keep everything as original and unedited as possible. To stay up to date on all upcoming episodes, make sure to subscribe, tune in every week. And with that being said, let's get on into today's episode. Hello, courageous hustlers, and welcome back to another episode. Listen, I laugh because sometimes I do underestimate the amount of things going on, and it's not until I actually sit down and really just even give myself the space to say, wow, this is how far you've come, right? And I wanted to record this quick episode because this is where I'm at right now, and there's so much going on. Like, there is so much happening in my house, happening with my family, happening with my business. And I literally, as I was even thinking about the podcast, a part of me kind of feels like, man, am I even doing the right thing? Like, what am I doing? I'm always second guessing what I'm doing. And that's just part of doing the thing, right? And I know that I'm not alone in this feeling. I know that there's a lot of you out there right now contemplating what are your next steps, right? And this new season is shifting so many different things for so many of us. And what I mean by that is, like, there's so much going on. Even like when I think about what I do professionally, how I help women, how I help entrepreneurs in the online space, like even the market is changing, right? Like, what's going on with the world, what's going on with the economy, what's going on in general is changing the trajectory of everything that's happening. And so I share all of that with you because it also shifts what happens with your business, right? What happens with your plans. And sometimes your plans might get disrupted, but what it really comes down to is, like, how do we recover from it, right? How do we recover from things changing or life happening, or how do we shift that, right? And I thought about that, and I really actually had to go back to my step-up method, which is what I love. This is why I wanted to record this episode, because it really was going back to the fundamentals that I know worked for me. And I know that we've been having, a couple of episodes where the step-up method has been a little bit scattered, but we're still talking about the same fundamental things. And I'm super excited about the next episode that I'm dropping, because that episode is really talking about just, even marriages and things like that. And I have an amazing guest for you guys with that episode. But I wanted to say this, and I say all of that to say that it really required this season, this new shift that's happening in this new season required for me to go back to the fundamentals. And I want to ask you today, give you a question for your consideration. What fundamental things do you need to go back to that you may be overlooking because you think you're no longer in that space? And for me, it was really going back to my step-up method. It was really me sitting down and saying, all right. And as you know, I've shared this. If this is the first time you come, you may want to go listen to the first couple of episodes that I kind of talk about the step-up method, but we have been breaking up the step-up method. I will run that down real quick so you know. The first step is self-awareness. I'm literally utilizing the step-up, right? Step 1 is self-awareness. Step 2, therapy for the trauma. Step 3, expanding your mindset. Step 4, personal development. Step 5, upgrading the vision. And step 6, pursuing purpose with unshakable passion. Okay. For me, it was literally like, yes, am I aware? I'm always aware, but sometimes I actually need to be reminded, even though you're fully aware, are you actually handling this in the best way possible? And then not even just that, but are you handling this in the best capacity possible with who you are trying to become? Right? Like right now, I mean, and I like to be honest, I like to be transparent. I have a lot of changes happening in my house that require for me to look in and say, did I handle that in the best capacity? And the honest truth is that I have come to realize that when I don't follow my gut instinct and when I don't follow my initial intuition, is when I'm actually failing myself, because I'm already fully aware. I know where my heart is. I know that sometimes I'm looking for confirmation, or I'm looking for a revelation, or I'm looking for more. Like, it's literally looking for confirmation after confirmation. And it's like, girl, you just got 17 different confirmations. How many more do you want? Right? And sometimes I do lean into faith and I'm asking God, give me a sign, and he's like, but girl, I've been telling you this for the longest time. Just go. And so we start second guessing. The enemy loves attacking all areas, right? The enemy has been very, very busy in my space, and it's required for me to say, I need you to trust you, because God already trusts you with a lot of different things. So I had to tell myself, I need to trust me in this season. I need to trust what I'm doing. I need to trust my intuition. I need to trust that there are areas in my life that I don't know what I'm doing, but this is why I can lean in and ask for the support that I need. And for me, it really was making sure I stay faithful to my therapy, going to therapy, expanding my mindset, doing literally the steps that I talk about in my step up method. Hitting my personal development. What does that personal development look like, right? Upgrading my vision. My vision actually, like, sometimes I can't keep up with my vision, because sometimes I'm like, God, are you serious? Like, and here's the thing. God talks to all of us differently. If you are thinking, oh, how am I supposed to listen to God? God talks to me with visions, with my dreams, with my thoughts. Like, and sometimes I am very careful, because the enemy also likes to reach you in those ways as well. But the reason I say all that is to encourage you to start listening and trusting you more. I really thought, man, there must be something wrong with me, because I'm tripping, maybe because I'm making impulsive decisions or whatever. I'm not. I'm literally shifting what's happening by actually making sure that I take action instead of sitting here dwindling and second guessing, should I have not done that? And, the reality is that before I used to sit months, weeks, days, years to make decisions, and now it only takes a couple of seconds. Now it really just actually is like, this is what we're doing and this is what needs to happen. And yes, sometimes the decision, even though I'm making it in a couple of seconds because that's what's required, it's not a decision that I just thought about. Sometimes you've already made some decisions about certain things way in advance. You just didn't want to accept it. So it's not that you're making a decision in that moment, in that second. It's that you're finally accepting and surrendering. And that's why I wanted to just come in here. I can keep going on and on and on. I'm going to keep this episode short, but I needed to let it off. It was on my heart. It was in my chest. Just, there's so many people out here really second guessing, really not even, and it's not second guessing that you just don't know what you're doing. It's second guessing the process you already actually know. You already know some of these fundamental things. You don't need someone to come tell you what has been working for you. It's just that sometimes we forget what was our journey. And I want to remind you today, Maybe your journey does require for you to go back and just refresh on those fundamental things that actually helped you get to where you are right now, right? I wake up every day with a lot of gratitude. I wake up every single day being thankful for the things that not everybody likes to be thankful for. I honestly feel like most days I wake up and I'm like, man, thank you. I literally have everything I need and some. And sometimes I don't know if it's just me being I don't know. I keep hearing that I'm becoming an empath. Like, if that's the case, cool. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel sometimes the pain of watching the news. Like, the news is, to me, I'm just like, man, I don't even want to watch it, because I see what's going on in other countries, what I see what's going on in the world. And I feel that pain, and that brings me to a place of gratitude. It brings me to a place of like, man, be thankful that you got clean water. Be thankful that you're able to walk today. Be thankful that you're able to hug your family. Be thankful that, and so it's like all those things actually humble me even more and make me realize that it's not even that bad. Whatever it is that I'm wrestling with in this moment or in this season, I still have to show up. I still have a responsibility. I still have a purpose. I still have an assignment that I have to stay true to. I cannot sit here and say, just because XYZ is happening, and even though it is difficult, and I am giving myself the space to process and grieve, I still have to continue moving on and moving forward. My recovery is a little bit different. My recovery looks a little bit different. This is why I am staying faithful to therapy. This is why I am staying faithful to working in my marriage, on my marriage with my husband, staying strong. I am faithful to making sure that I'm repairing relationships that I really care about. I'm staying faithful to that. The ones that are not meant to be in my life are not in my life. And that is an intentional decision that I make, because some people don't need access to you. You could still love people from far away. You guys have heard me say this before. For those of you that have been following, for the courageous hustlers that have been here since day one, since a couple of months ago, you guys have heard me say you can love people from far away and still pray for them and still wish them well, even if they're wishing me the opposite. So I say all that to say that I don't know where you are today. I don't know how, if you're listening, maybe right now you needed to hear this message, but I want to encourage you to continue fighting for that courageous person inside of you. A lot of times we think, and here's another thing that came up actually before I get into what I was about to say. Someone said to me, well, courageous hustlers, like, that's a really nice name, but that hustle mentality is just too much. And I said, this was actually someone I respect in the online space. And I said, I respect what you think. And I believe that you forgot that one day you used to be a courageous hustler, because at some point you had to find the courage and the hustle to get where you currently are now. And so I want to encourage you today to go ahead and find that courageous hustler inside of you, whatever that takes. I don't know what that looks like for you. Maybe for you, that looks like tapping into your self-awareness, or maybe that looks like you finding a new therapist, or maybe that looks like, instead of you telling yourself certain things, start expanding your mindset. Be mindful of the things that you're telling yourself. Instead of saying, I can't afford this, say, I can't wait to be able to pay this. I can't wait to be able to pay my next coach $50,000. I can't wait to be able to do this. Instead of claiming the struggle, let's claim the actual win we're trying to get to. Let's envision that, right? Let's start telling ourselves better stories, because we're telling ourselves crap. We're just telling ourselves crap. And then we're wondering why things are not happening for us. You're over here praying for a 6-figure business, but you don't have a 6-figure mindset, or you don't have a 6-figure infrastructure for your business, or you don't have a 6-figure process. So I hope that this serves you. I really hope that it blesses you in some way. I always say that I'm saying it with love. I come and I give this information to you today because it was in my heart. This was all last minute. I got to run. I got to go get my kid from the bus. But listen, I can't wait for you guys to listen to the next episode. And as always, stay courageous, and I'll see you in the next one. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Please go ahead and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and all those handles are going to be here in the show notes. We would love for you to also leave us a rating. We want to be able to grow this community and reach more courageous hustlers out there. And that's only possible when you leave a rating and a review on what you think about this podcast. So please share this podcast with anyone that you believe would be blessed by this information. And I hope that I see you in the next one. Until then, stay courageous.